Hello? Is this thing on? Slightly rearranged myself. Basically, she put an extension. There's 2 desks here. And every time I was doing like live streams or doing things, I was moving and moving. And now she built, with hammers and things. Hello to everyone's out there. The 19 viewers. Friday night is probably not the best night for this sort of thing, huh? But hopefully a few thousand people in the ether afterwards will join us in our conversation as we talk about Angron. So Timothy, John, Peter, is the sound okay? Is everything okay? Are you good out there? What are you doing up on a Friday night? And thank you as well to the one person in between the last live stream and this live stream who bought the mug. So there are now 4 people in the world that own Winter's This Is the Way the World Ends mugs other than me. So 5 with me. Cheers. Sound okay? Sound is good. You're on a TV in Mexico, Winters, says Peter Daly. Am I really? International. Who'd have thought it? When I was just a weak rot running around the feet of the big angry orcs trying not to be eaten. Sounds great. Mrs. Birthday, she's gone out with her mates. Friday chill, says John Turner. Nice, man. So yeah, thank you to the person who bought. Merchandise is available. And if you're one of the few thousand watching this after the stream, then the best way to support me is by becoming a channel member. Tier 1 unlocks all the badges and the emojis. Tier 2 unlocks my Discord. And then Tier 3 unlocks all the videos, all the extra videos I produce and the other things. They also go in the deployment zone because I'm a part of the deployment zone too. And if you're a supporter through the deployment zone, then me and Liam share and contribute to that pot. So thank you for your support, however it comes in, and those are ways to support me or me and Liam. Evening Winter's first chance to catch your live stream, says Lord Discordant. Lord Discordant, I take it by your name that you might be excited for Angron. Who is excited about Angron? Warhammer 40k. This is what we're talking about this evening. And when is Angry Ron coming out? Do we know yet? I mean, I know. Of course I know. Haha. But do you know yet? Stream, do you know yet? Has it been announced when Angron is coming? We've seen all the pictures, and are you excited? Merch is available. Anyone who's watched this afterwards or watched along knows that I encourage this to be a team effort here. And for those thousands who are watching afterwards, by the way, the team aren't really helping out right now. We have some life, however. Rogvar said tomorrow. And Lord Discordant said he's very excited about holding off for Angron until he's finished some of his pile of shame. But it's Angron, Lord Discordant. This is a demon Primarch. This is we had Magnus. We had Mortarion, the bringer of judgment, the Death Reaper. And now we have Angron, the Red Angel, and you're going to hold off and you consider yourself a Chaos player. How expensive is he? Do we know if he's really expensive or not? Timothy Unwin, just need a Fulgrim figure for the full set now. He's coming too. They've said that they will be doing Emperor's Children. Sneaky Fulgrim will be coming along too. Can you imagine if you're a Chaos player and you don't have Angron, Magnus, Fulgrim, and Mortarion up there on your... You are not a Chaos player without those 4 bad boys up there. 95 quid? Is he really? Lord Discordant still has Morty and Magnus to finish though. Well, finish them, okay? Consider this therapy. I'm calling on you. So the next time you come back in the chat, Lord Discordant, in a week, in 2 weeks, or whenever we manage to catch again, because I think you said earlier on that this is your first time, your first time that you and I have spoken together. Maybe it's your second. I don't know. It all blurs. But you can come back and tell me the story of your progress with Mortarion and Magnus, the Demon Primarchs, and then get Angron. Come on now, Chaos player. Primarch, come on, Winters. We all know you're more excited for Lorgar. I would, I'm equally excited. I cannot be unexcited about any Primarch returning. It's a Primarch. It's Angron. Even if he is the failure, even if he is the worst of the Primarchs by a long way, even if he was born in chains, managed to break free of those chains, to die on a mountaintop where he would have died and been the third out of 20 Primarchs that we would have never known about had the Emperor not rescued him and then put him in chains again, only to fall into the more chains. And now he lives this miserable existence where he just hates everything and wants to die. $160 US. Really? Wow, that's a lot of cheeseburgers. CL Winters, if it wasn't for you, I would have never got back to enjoy 40k. Although only watching, well, that doesn't matter so long as you're enjoying 40k and hitting that like and subscribe button. After I stopped sometime around White Dwarf 9. Wow. All the best from the Germany. Peter Daly, I hope Lorga comes out with Korax in a decade or so. Yeah, they seem to, I mean, when Mortarion came out, Guilliman came out. And now we're going to get Angron and the Lion, it would seem. So Lorgar and Korax would seem to work, or something along those lines. Evening all, says Sanguinary Guard. Good evening, my moderator. Moderator Primus. Sanguinary Regard is in the house. Evening all. Angron needs a good little fight in a book to hype him up. Well, I believe that's what's coming in the next Arks of Omen. So the first Ark of Omen was Abaddon. The second Ark of Omen is Angron. So we can assume it's going to be about Angron. And there's a novel with him in it. And Painters Boothie, thank you for being a member for 12 months. I know I am well. And Yarrick Skull. I hope you're well, Yarrick Skull. Sure. We need the Khan. Biased White Scars fan, says the Woad Warrior. Likes painting all that red all over those crimson cheeks. The Khan is cool. He's the Primarch that came out of the Horus Heresy, that came out of the... There's not very many Primarchs that went into the Horus Heresy saga and the Solar War that came out the other side better than when they went in. Like, okay, that one's good. And the Khan is perhaps the only one, or one of them, depending on where your biases lies. But he certainly does come out looking better, doesn't he? He's very much a man you'd want to follow, if only to see where you end up. Versus Gaz would be ideal. Maybe. Versus anyone. I like him, but many are angry about Angron. Why would many be angry about Angron? Why would you ever be angry about Angron? And also, don't let Angron catch you being angry around him, because Angron will out-angry you. Angron will out-angry you. So we're saying it comes out tomorrow. We're saying it's like really expensive. Roger says Angron the Red Angel from David Geiner is the name of the book. And Peters Boothly, does Angron not have Yarrick's skull on his belt, does he? I hope we see that in the novel in the future. What a way to go for the old man. Yeah, actually, to be having Yarrick's skull. Like, that was one that I need to keep. I think it's a skull with the servitor eye, like a bionic eye, so it looks like it could be Yarrick. But Khan and Vulcan are the most wholesome, in my opinion, aside from Eldar Barbecue. Haha, I do like some nice, wholesome Eldar Barbecue. Particularly with some sauce, some jalapenos, you know, in a nice nacho. I need to see the 8-bound painted up by a bunch of different people, like that nice community article for Angron. It was nice to see Angron painted up in different ways in that nice community article. I may or may not have also been painting very hard the last couple of days on an army that may or may not be coming soon. And I may or may not have a battle report that I need to edit. Well, I've always got a battle report that I need to edit. And I may have played a game this evening. I'm very excited, which is why now I'm online. Buy your Winter's SEO. This is the way the world in mugs, because there's only 4 out there and it makes me feel bad. CL, thank you for your first donation of the evening. Welcome to the channel. Needs to be the standard intro phrase. More Tyranids and Guards, please. Epic match in White Dwarf 7 or so. More Tyranids and Guard. Tyranids and Guard. Don't typically... What happens is, so thank you for your suggestion. I think that could be Sultan versus my Tyranids, but I'm not having fun playing Tyranids at the moment because they're really OP, and then they've been nerfed into the bin. And they're also... There's easier armies to play, and because I'm zipping between the armies, and I am but one brain, and a weak brain at that... It's easy to zip between armies that are easier to play. Like Death Guard's abilities are always turned on. Necron's abilities always do what they do. Tau are also pretty good. You got Kaon, this is what they do. Space Marines are pretty good as well. And then as soon as you get back to, right, this is turned on this turn, and then this is turned on that turn, and then Skitarii do this, and then this psychic power over here does this, and this core thing tells that one down the synaptic. It's, you know what I mean? If you play it all the time, and CL, do you play Tyranids? I don't know. But if you play it all the time, it's lovely. But I like to spread my butter across many roles. Woot says Kolbs. Kolbs 13. Woot. I do hope you're referring to the 13th Militarum, says Peter Daly. Me? I've found Fortune with Death Guard went 3-2 at Factorum last weekend with best in faction. Well done, Sanguinary Guard. Going 3-2 with Death Guard at Factorum. Did you have a lot of Plague Marines in there? I'm beginning to suspect at 19 points each, toughness 5 with 2 wounds, even without Armor of Contempt. They're cheap and all the upgrades are free. So you can put your Plasma, the Blight Launchers, the Flails in there. Just then the other guys can just have, you know, but it's about having the fist, the plasma, the flail, and another plasma on you. It's those things you put in there all for free. Don't worry about the flamer and the extra. That's cool. And you can hoard up quite well with Plague Marines. And they munch through most stuff because Armor of Contempt is gone. So their Plague weapons are OP -1 at Strength 4, but -1 toughness, Strength 3 with Contagions. It's all turned on all the time. You don't have to think about it. Plague Marines can do work, particularly with trench fighters, and also they're cool. You can reroll hit rolls of 1. I like Plague Marines. Sanguinary Guard, was there a lot of Plague Marines? And you got best in faction with Death Guard as well. Did you have fun? And I played them, Tyranids, some 25 years ago and loved. Oh, so you played Tyranids some 25 years ago. Carnifex is 10 wounds and a 3-up 2D. Yeah, Carnifex. God damn it, brain. The Carnifex thing. The brain thing. Carnifex. No, distraction. Distraction Carnifex. The distraction Carnifex that was there back when it's back again. You can bring a lot of them, a lot of Screamer Killers. It's definitely in there with the Tyranids. 17 Plague Marines, 10 Blight Lords, 30 Poxwalkers. See, that's nice because the 17 Plague Marines, well, it's not nice because first the 17 Plague Marines and 10 Blight Lords, none of that's divisible by 7. But I like the fact that you've got 27 infantry that are toughness 5 and 10 of them have got a 4-up invulnerable save and they're all objective secured and the 30 Poxwalkers are objective support. And Morty, well done, you see, this is right. This is as I was talking to the dude earlier on. If you're a proper Chaos player, Angron's coming. Who's not excited for Angron? He's another Demon Primarch. It was great fun. Good with the Taliban and the Foulblight Spawn. Taliban for those CP farms and you hit better. And Foulblight Spawn for fight first, fight last. I like it. That's a strong list. Yeah. The Woad Warrior says Plague Marines might be the best unit in the Codex, though I'm partial to Death Shroud. Indeed. John Turner is trying some funky Necron lists. Oh, well, we're all trying funky Necron lists. Because straight Necron lists ain't cutting it. And 7 Possessed. Okay. Possessed in Death Guard. I like it. Gibbs more Primarchs. Exactly, Timothy. Gib more Primarchs. We've got Magnus. We've got Angron. We've got Mortarion. And soon, hopefully in a year, 2, 3, whenever they do the Emperor's Children, we'll have Fulgrim as well. And we'll have each of the manifestations of the Chaos Gods up there on the shelf. And if you're not a Chaos player who hasn't got them painted, or if you are a Chaos player who doesn't paint, at least you've got all 4 of them. Come on now. Your new army should be that new army you have talked about, like 10 models at 200 points each or 20 models at 100 each. Great starter army, easy to buy, build, paint. Charles, you're absolutely right. Only I could build that army, but then play that army against other 40k armies would be pure house ruling it. This is what my stuff does because I says it does this. What I'd like to do is build proxy armies, just like you get proxy bikes and they're put on speeders, or just like you get proxy dreads which do this, or proxy that. Some people use their Chaos Space Marines army as World Eaters. Some people use their convert orcs into loads of chaos stuff and do this. There's proxies and 3D prints and things like that, and it's got to be an army that when you feel it, it fits well in a particular codex. Or if you play Infinity, the troops fit well in certain units that way. Or if you want to play some other game system, the troops will fit well in those other game systems, whatever they might be. It's a proxy army. So it's got to have the units of troops and then the line breakers and then some tanky things. And then it's got to have these things, but they can look completely different and cool. So it can't be the army that I said Games Workshop need to make, because I can make it, but I can't the rules. Games Workshop need to make it, and Games Workshop need to do the rules. What are you drinking, Winter's tea? Says Ed. No, it's coffee. Brother Ralphus, you've called and I have answered. Just ordered my mug. It shall fuel me with coffee as I paint my miniatures. Good. And you have bought a mug. You are the 5th owner of the This Is the Way the World Ends mug. Thank you, Brother Raphaeus. Love you. Charles has been playing 2nd and 3rd edition. But Winters, here's the plan for my next one. 140 Poxwalkers. Sanguinary Guard, what? 140 Poxwalkers. Can you get 140 in there? I thought the max you can get is 120, which is still a lot. With Typhus and everything else there to make it legal. Yeah, okay. Some Blight Haulers. Yeah, Horde with anti-tank and Blight Haulers will definitely work. Scottish Jim EY, thank you for your first donation. He comes from near the Land Down Under, the Upside Down, New Zealand. Thanks for everything you do. Joy to watch. Favourite Loyalist Primarch? It depends on my mood. If I'm in a dour mood, it might be Ferrus Manus. His story is elegant, beautiful. There's a lot of depth in the Iron Warrior story, more than people realise. If I'm feeling I want to stand strong against all oppositions, no matter how hard, if I'm fighting a battle across a tabletop against a hated foe, then I dig deep for my inner dawn, the rock on which the Imperium was built. Favourite Primarch? Loyalist. Khan's cool. Korax is cool. Fulcrum is cool. Vulcan. I mean, there's the Angel, but he's gone. And there's Guilliman, and he's your best mate. He's your lieutenant. There's a reason why he was told to guard the distant shore. Then there's the Lion. He's the closest to the Emperor, which is why he's so unlike his brother Primarchs, which is why he's so distant from humanity, and I have to often ask the people around him, what did he mean by that? And was that person lying? And what are your thoughts on this? The Lion is the only one who asks those questions of the people around him, because he wants those answers. He doesn't understand humans that well. He's so close to the Emperor. His morality and modus operandi is singular for the protection and expansion of the Imperium and nothing else. And he's cool. But the other ones can see those things that he misses, because all the Primarchs have a flaw. I don't know. Can't I say all of them? Hugo, thank you for being a member for 13 months. I love you, buddy. I think my Red Corsairs are going to steer clear of Angron. Hugo, you need Mortaran in your life. You need Magnus in your life. And you need Angron in your life. You know this, Hugo. And then you'll have 3 of the 4. And then Lorgar will come out soon. And then you'll have all 4. Wouldn't it be beautiful? I know you love chaos. With the changes, I'm loving a chance to run a nearly full Red list. Bjorn, 3 Vendreds, 3 Wolfendreds, and some fire support. Yes, you can do those things if you use the Arks of Omen. Basically, it's the end of an edition, right? It's 9th is rolling into 10th. And what happens at the end of the edition is they let all the kids play with all the toys and all the sandpits. At the end of 7th, formations went crazy. And we knew 8th was coming. And they let the kids play. Because what happens is, at the end of an edition, people stop buying stuff, typically, because they don't know if this is going to be good or going to be bad, or what changes are coming up, etc., etc. But they let the kids play in the sandpit. And that's what they did at the end of 7th. And they kept sales at that high level because people were buying Triptide lists. AdMech were buying a knight to stick in their lists. Space Marines were buying vehicles all over the place. Razorback spam was a thing and Drop Pod spam was a thing because you could bring, so long as you brought demi companies of Space Marines, you got all your transports for free. This was happening here, there, everywhere. Triple Wraith Knights, and then 8th dropped. And at the end of 8th, they had Psychic Awakening and that Octavia stuff. Here's this detachment, add this book and this book. And with these 3 different books, you can add all of that. And that's what happened at the end of 8th. Mind you, 9th came around as a bit of a surprise. I would have thought they could have left it for another year. And here we are at the end of 9th. If you play Arks of Omen, green tournament detachment things, because you're a crazy savage and none of your friends want to play Tempest of War or Open War or just have some fun, or play one of the main matched play, tournament play packs in the main rulebook instead, just one of the basic ones using secondaries out the way main rulebook, because you're a savage. Yes, you can bring an army of just Dreadnoughts. Yes, you can bring Bjorn the Fell-Handed. You can bring triple Contemptor Dreads from the Imperial Armor books. You could bring triple normal Dreads, triple Venerable Dreads, triple Wolf and Dreads. You could do that, you savage, you beautiful beast, you. Do it. Do it. Charles, only played Imperial Guard and Tyranids ever. My mental health does not allow me to play in public anymore. I'm so sorry. Fellow depressed and other issues, brother. Charles, hang in there, keep going. You are loved, and there will come a time when you look back and remember. At the moment when you look back, you can't imagine a time that is worse than this. You can't imagine a time that is worse than this. But if you let time pass, you'll remember that time when you can't imagine time being worse than this. You'll remember it, because after a period of time, even if it's still as bad, one thing has improved, which is you've survived it. You can survive it. Keep going, and you'll be out in public no time soon. And hit me up, and we'll play a game. It'll be fun. Evening, DZTV, Warsmith Chris. Warsmith Chris, I did get the STD up today, and I spread the STT amongst the galaxy. Did anyone out there watch the STD? The STD that me and Warsmith Chris put up today. 4 CP to bring 2 Lords of War and Tempest. Yeah, it is. It depends on the Lords of War, though, because if they're a Supreme Command detachment, like Mortarion, like Magnus, like Guilliman, and like we assume Angron will be, you get your CP back. Cadia broke before Charles did. Exactly. Evening, Hobbits. Evening, William. STD was class. Thank you, Sasha. At least someone watched the STD. One person watched the STD. No, Rasmus was a fun listen while building a shelf. At least you can build a shelf. Some people can't. Hey all, James, Sky, thanks for answering questions. Yes, Sky, we actually managed to answer one of your questions on the STD. I hope it was to your liking, and I'm sorry that it took so long, because you asked it about a month ago. But we wanted to build up on the STD. We started off, we wanted it to spread from the very earliest time, from the First War in Heaven all the way through to the Heresy, which is where we are now. So now we're opening up. And if you want to get yourself involved in the STD, then just drop a question in the question bit in my Discord, tier 2 minimum to get in there. 10 out of 10. Excellent. Good. Sky, I'm glad I answered your question. 10 out of 10. Rasmus, the pre-order starts tomorrow. Yes, Angron's quite expensive. Are we excited for Are we excited for Angron? Papa Nurgle himself endorses the STD. Yes, he does. A lot on the nature of chaos. You thought SDD was excellent, says Defcon C. Yes, good. Oh, cool. I really want him now and I can't wait. Exactly. So he's coming out tomorrow. It's Games Workshop. How much do we think he'll be? Someone said like 90 quid. I mean, that's Imperial Knight money, isn't it? But it's Angron. So you got to get him. If you're a Chaos player, you got to get him. Are there any World Eater players out there? I may or may have not played a couple of games with a codex that may or may not be coming out soon, and I find it very exciting. Someone's talking in dollars there. £80 is the Primarch standard, I believe. 80 quid is it for Mortarion and Magnus? 80 quid for a Primarch seems Games Workshop prices, but not stupid Games Workshop prices, like 100 quid. The dollars, someone said some Australian money, but we know Australia doesn't exist. And we know the world is flat and that gravity isn't real. What happens is the planet is moving through space at 160 miles an hour or whatever it is. So that's why things fall down. Things don't fall down, we're moving up. It's true. God damn it. Sniffly nose. Those new Berserkers are thick. Yes, they are. I mean, the old Berserker models, right? I don't know if any of you have seen them, but they're like 20-year-old, really base plastic kits, and the only reason why they managed to survive 20 years on the battlefields of the 41st millennium is because when someone brought loads of Khorne Berserkers and put them opposite the table of you charging forward, it didn't matter what they looked like, they still were scary as hell. You already use a creature caster King of War as a proxy, Angron, says James. Are you the Australian? If you are the Australian, I don't blame you. If you're not the Australian, get Angron. It's the Angron. How do you square the paradox of Nurgle, decaying yet somehow stronger? Just read Lord of Silence, fascinating POV insight into being infected by Nurgle. Well, William Willis. Nurgle believe that they're not the Lords of Death and Decay. They believe they're the Lords of Life. And only through death and decay, the cycle of... only through... This body has a certain amount of life in it, but... maggots and other things, there's many other bacteria and things that could grow inside this body and it could produce a lot more life. It's eternal return. It is entropy. It's the passage of time, but always towards the negative because it's corrupt and it's polluted by Nurgle like a radioactive waste. It is the impulse in nature to decay. It is radioactive decay. It is entropy. It is the passage of time. It is the touch of Grandfather Nurgle. Dr. Sprue is starting a World Eaters army at the moment. My second army after Ultramarines, but it takes me about 3 years to paint 2K, so I'll be at it a while until they're on the tabletop. Sprem Red. Get yourself a can of Get yourself of Lionel Messi red. After you've put them together, spray them red, pick out the details, give them a null and wash, dry brush the higher details. Done. You can reasonably do, well, at the start you'll do a couple a night. But once you've got that process down, you can do 5 in a night. And as for the base, you just get some sterling mud, rub it over the base, and then dry brush grey on top. You can add a few skulls, or you can add a few patches of grass, or you can add, but it's just sterling mud, grey dry brush, add a few patches here or there. What's your opinion of the strongest chapter master for the Imperium? Strongest chapter master will be Dante when he crosses the Rubicon, because he is the oldest. They're all praetors, they're all uber, and they all have relics and all have techs, but you've got to... So if you watch UFC, and I do actually, by the way, hands up anyone else there who watches the UFC. I've got the UFC app on my phone. It's one of the things I do that you probably don't know about me. And I don't watch it because I like to see two grown men beat the crap out of each other and blood and bandages and things like that. The reason why I watch the UFC is because it's, and for those that don't know, it's mixed martial arts. So it's like two guys going at it and, you know, knockout or tap out. It's got actually a lot lower head injury and injury rate than standard boxing, because in boxing you might get hit in the head 200, 300, 400 times. In UFC, you can get hit in the head 30 times and get knocked out, and it's safer all round. Anyway, so I like to watch it because at the high end it really is a mental game. This person can take the other person down, but this person's got really good defense and can defend against the takedown. This guy's a really frenetic kicker and power, but this guy's a great counterpuncher. And it's a chess game, like any good sport is at the high end. Competitive sport at the high end, snooker, tennis, badminton, it's as much mental it is reading your opponent, breaking your opponent down, as it is physical when you get to the elite of the elite. And I like that in my Space Marines in the books, and I like that on screen with the UFC, these Space Marines going at it. So who would be the best of the good guy Praetors? It's Dante. He's 1,000 years older than anyone else. And they don't slow down, and their memory is eidetic. He remembers everything. Right now, actually, he's pretty tired. And he's got a lot of work to do. Hugo, thank you for jumping into the chat, and thank you for your donation. I really appreciate it. I think I will wait for the Baleforce Battle Force box. Primarchs, Corrupt or Loyal do not really inspire me until Ferrus Manus returns. That is. Okay. Okay. It's your 40k, man. But Angron's coming. Big. The Red Angel. Come on now. Guys, have we seen his stats? Have his stats been leaked? Have you seen what this badass can do? Are we scared? Can he do too much? Can he do too little? How many points do you think he should be? Is there anything you think can withstand him? Sanguinary Guard, Dante best, not if my Vindicare has anything to say about it. Vindicare wouldn't shoot Dante. How to shoot the devil in the back? What if you miss? Name that movie. So yeah, thanks for coming along this evening. Thank you to everyone who's watching this after the stream is over. Thank you to the person who bought, the fifth person who bought This is the Way the World Ends mug is. And if you'd like to support me, consider becoming a channel member. Tomorrow there'll be, not the next, tomorrow, I think on Sunday, the battle report that I normally put up for members, I think I'll put that out for everyone because it may be about an army that is soon to be released, maybe. And it's very exciting. But if you want to unlock loads of extra videos and campaigns and things like that, then consider becoming a YouTube channel member. You'll notice as well that the setup's changed a little bit. I've moved across. Right, Dante best. No, we did that. Yes, he needs damage to him. Whatever. Surely 39 attacks on the charge can't be that bad. No, exactly, Rasmus. 39 attacks on the charge, hitting on 2s. Whoa, 1 damage though. Yes, but his strength very high. And how many things out there reduce all damage by 1? So he's going to be hitting on 2s and potentially wounding on 2s at AP minus a bajillion 1 damage. He's going to get through shizzle. Weeb Postmuma says, what I've seen about him is scary, as he should be. Exactly, that's my thoughts on Angron. He should be scary. I'm excited for Angron, but I think a friend is interested in him. The Baleforce Battle Fleet, is it? I like the idea of that and doing the page, the demon prince with the Nurgle head in Shep. Yeah, okay. Will he murder most things except Deathwing Terminator's glass cannon, though? Glass cannon, though. Yes, he keeps coming back too. That's the thing. He's a glass cannon, Sven. But we know he comes back. Gavin, I play from Iron Hand Successor. The idea is no. Okay, what? Sangria, he should one-shot a 10-man Marine unit. Statistically, he won't. So his 39 attacks. We're saying he's got 39 attacks and hitting on 2s and wounding on 2s, right? And you don't think he won't one-shot a 10-man Marine unit? I think he will. So are we thinking he's not scary enough? Or he is too scary? And how many points do we think he should be? I think Angron should be the scariest thing in close combat in Warhammer 40k. I think I said this on a live stream before. Scarier than a knight, scarier than anything, scarier than Agarath the Unbound, scarier than Angron in close combat is Demon Primarch, Chosen of Khorne, the Red Angel. He should be the scariest thing in Warhammer 40k in close combat. And he shouldn't do anything else as well. He shouldn't buff. He might be able to buff his army, like if they can see him, they're fearless. But he shouldn't be giving out orders. He shouldn't be doing any of that. He's just doing that. And they're just happy to be around him following his red wave. You think it'd be around the 460 point marks. I'm 100% ready to be angry with Angron. Nice. Blood for the blood god. Skulls for the skull throne. Axel Pyro, thanks for coming into the chat, adding some energy. You're the first person this evening to say blood for the blood god. Skulls for the skull throne. And no one else has done that yet, or even thought to do that yet. You, my friend. You, my friend, are my friend. With saves, he doesn't. 30 hits, 24 wins, just 5 out of 24 saves are made up. Okay. So we'll see when Angry Boy gets on the table. We'll see. There seems to be some uncertainty about just how brutal he should be in close combat. David says he's a demon Primarch. He should be terrifying in close combat. Exactly. And that's coming from a Dark Angels player. Exactly. I want to be scared when I know Angron's going to hit my lines, whatever part of the lines he hits. The only way to stop him is to shoot him or run away. Excuse me. COVID. The line will return. Chills, says Rasmus. Haha, I'm ready to mass by the World Eaters upon release. If you are a Chaos player. Yes. Blood for the blood god. Skulls for the skull throne. How much is a new army these days? About 300 quid. Get in there, son. He doesn't wipe a 10-man, says Gavin. Doesn't he do like 24 wounds to a marine unit on average? He's got 39 hits. 39 attacks, so 33 of them hit. 27 wounds, 22 failed saves. So that is a 10-man marine unit, right? 22 failed saves, says Gavin. Bless you. Thank you. A Leviathan Turvagon for 5+ fee. A Leviathan Turvagon with a 5-up shrug. Might survive. Might. 39 attacks on the charge, re-rolling hits. We can assume that he might be able to re-roll hits, right? Because Magnus can bless himself. Mortarion can bless himself. Would Angron struggle against Abaddon? The 3 damage max per phase. Exactly. Angron will get locked with Abaddon or Gaz or a Catan, a Necron Catan. And Kevin Schweger, finally, after so many years, he's here. My big boy in red. Exactly, Kevin. Exactly. He's finally here. Who is excited about Angron? Come on! Angron, the Red Angel, is hitting the tabletop. After the gazillion years, it's the World Eaters have their own codex and new Berserker models, and Angron. Did we mention that there's Angron in it? And there's those 8-bound guys as well. They're possessed with 8 souls inside of them, not 1, because they're better, because Angron. Come on now. Sky says 650 points. Wowee wow wow. That's a lot of points, baby. He does re-roll hits, says Gavin. I'm looking forward to Khan being scary again too. Exactly. Gorechild. Remember, the axe he has in his hand was once wielded by Angron, when Angron was much tinier than he is now. I do love the idea of 8-bound. I love the idea of 8-bound. You have Possessed. Chaos Space Marines, we have Possessed. And here we have Chaos Space Marines in red World Eaters, Possessed, right? 8 times. So they're going to be Possessed. So that kind of stat line, but all close combat. Remember, World Eaters are all close combat. And the way that tower just all shooting, they're supposed to be terrifying in one phase. I will never play him, but I'm so happy the World Eaters have had their day in the sun. Exactly, David Doyle. Of course you're so happy that World Eaters have their day in the sun. And this is the thing, you might meet Angron across the battlefield at one point, and isn't that cool? You never thought you'd meet a Demon Primarch like him on the battlefield a year ago, but now you do. Looks like Chaos is back on the menu, boys. Is World Eaters good? I'm new to the game. Gabriel Brando, we don't know yet. The pre-orders for World Eaters are coming up very soon, and over the YouTubes, over the very soon next couple of days or weeks, you'll get lots of details about the World Eaters and battle reports and things like that, and can make up your own mind. I would say to you, Gabriel, if you are new to the game, and you say you are new to the game, the army you should pick is the army that you think you like the look of most. This is a visual game. This is a collector's game. You might collect and paint first before you actually actually play, or in 3 years' time you might move to a different sort of... You've got to love the thing that you're collecting, these models. So it's not about whether they're good, it's about what you love the look of. However, having said that, if you're one of those very, very few people who actually want to get into the game more and prioritize playing the game more, as much or even more than just collecting a certain faction of models, then if you want, obviously when you first start in the game, you want to play the game more and you want to get better at the game. So you want to improve, so it helps you if you get a better codex, or one that is particularly good, so you don't struggle so much. Well, the edition is changing in about 5 months, 4 months, and everything will be leveled out again, which means by the time you actually start playing properly, it doesn't matter what army you've got anyway, because it should be all about around. No one will know which is the best, and it will take it. And then everyone, at the start of edition, people are more equal. So if you're new to the game and you want to start playing straight away, well, in 4 months' time, it's not going to be as relevant. So just go with what you like the look of most, or the lore most. Do you like lots of tanks? Great. Do you like raving mad lunatics running across the table and attacking people? Great, that's World Eaters. Do you like Space Wizards, Space Jedi? Then go Thousand Suns. I said tanks. Do you want big knights? I like big knights and I cannot lie. Then get them. Do you like lots and lots and lots and lots of guns and a slightly manga, sort of karate type look, but they can't actually fight anything in close combat because they like their really, really, really big guns? Gundam thing. Then go Tau. Where are we? Got a bit carried away there. Blood for the Primarch. Berserker Horde mode coming too. Great. First army in second edition was called Berserkers. Yes, this is your big moment from second edition. Can we all agree the 30k World Eater scheme is better, right? Well, whatever anyone, it depends. I mean, the OG World Eater scheme was white and blue, and then shortly after Isfam 3 they started going white and red. So to which, and then the OG World Eater scheme, way back in the day before any of the legions had earned their colours or had indeed been divided into legion, was just the ceramite grey or ceramite silver, depending on where the armour was artificed from. So some of the legions had brighter silvery plate at the start. Some of them had greyish plate at the start, like Death Guard and Space Wolves. And some of them had... only 2 legions were issued black plate from the very start, and that was the Night Lords and the Raven Guard. But that was again to do with the pigments and the things in which the ceramite was found. So silver, grey or black is OG, right? That's what you mean? The OG Death Guard colours? That's what you mean when they were the Dusk Raiders? No, they weren't the Dusk Raiders. They were the hounds, warhounds, right? Absolutely, yeah, cool. Today I learned, yeah, great. How would you counter World Eaters but keep it fun, not to be list tailoring guy? How would you counter World Eaters? So World Eaters are going to come at you, Niall. They're going to come at you. So there's 2 ways to counter that. One is shoot the crap out of them. Well, there's a couple of ways. Shoot the crap out of them. You can screen. So MSU units, lots of screaming, and then there's Blood Tithe, so maybe that's not, but you're going to have the best way to deal with a full assault army. Okay, so this is actually a good point. So full Tyranid army, full Orc army. How do I deal with a full assault army, Winters? Well, this is how you deal with it. During deployment, you do not go in one place, because then all that assault army needs to go in one place. The best way to deploy against a full assault army is 2 halves of the board. If that isn't appropriate because your opponent is spreading out all across the board, then deploy in a third, in a third, in a third, and leave your good 18-inch gaps there. You want that army to break up as much as possible, because it will be a full assault army, which means it will get to you. Some of it will get to you in turn 1, and most, if not the rest of it, will get to you in turn 2. So to counter that, you need to deploy well and you need to screen, and that's it. And then the best armies that work against full assault armies, so all armies can counter deploy quite well, and all armies can screen to a greater or lesser extent, except for knights and custodians, most armies, so it goes most armies. But then the best armies that perform against full assault rushes are highly mobile or reserve or redeployment option type lists. So they can get out of there, move around, do their things. So Harlequins might be interesting. Units that hold quite a bit in reserves might be interesting. Units that can take it. There's not a lot of true rocks left in 8th edition right now. I mean, the Dark Angels suddenly got a whole new unit with their transhuman stuff. Death Guard might be able to tank it quite a bit. Again, Harlequins, like not being able to hit on or not be able to wound on. Mind you, they've all got 5 up and vulnerable saves, so those clowns are dead now. But that's how the best way to counter full assault lists is to deploy correctly, try and screen or move block wherever possible. And if that's all your army can do, then that's the best your army can do while you shoot at them. If your army does have some redeployment options, Terminators, drop pods, speeders, things like that, then you need to use them as effectively as you can. Thanks for the tip. I get a Khan model from a friend last year, and Angron got a new model, so I thought to myself, why not? I would. Gabriel Brando. So if you've got a Khan model, get yourself an Angron model. Get yourself a bunch of those new 8-man models. It typically costs £200 to £300 to get to a 2,000 point army in 40k, and that's on the cheap side. It might cost 400 or 500 for horde armies or bigger armies or certain armies, but somewhere between 2 and 4 for a decent 2,000 point list. 2 if you're lucky, probably 3. But once you've got those models, you've got those models forever, and then you need someone to play. And there should be a club somewhere in your area. Adamard Wargaming. I, for one, am very excited to see Angus Ronaldston finally get a model. I am too. Don't forget the bugs. Dusk Raiders was Death Guard. Yeah, Death Guard was Dusk Raiders. Yes. They used to appear at night. They used to appear when the sun came down. And whole armies, knowing that the Dusk Raiders were coming, would quit the field rather than get attacked by them, because when the sun came up the next day, all that was left was bones. Okay, so I think I've had a nice chat about Angron. Thank you all for stopping in. Oh, I didn't notice Angron was in the chat. Angron! Yay! Jerome's in the chat. Are you still here, Jerome? Because I know you like your Iron Warriors, but are you going for the World Eaters as well? Are you going to go full Angry Ron? Because it's a Primarch. It's a new Primarch. And as I said to anyone who's new to the chat, by the way, and who thinks they're a Chaos player, Mortarion on the shelf, Angron on the shelf, Magnus on the shelf. Painted if you're a Chaos player. And soon Lorgar's coming, 2 years, whatever. The 4 of them painted on the shelf. I haven't got Magnus. I have to get Magnus now. And obviously, I'll be getting Angry Ron. Obviously. Corn Juggernaut, full culvert charge. Yeah, Corn Juggernaut's getting in there. You've dusted off your 64 Berserkers for a game with my son as soon as the Codex lands next week. It's good to be the right... Oh, yes, exactly. Svend, Axe Fist. I'm a Viking. 64 Berserkers, bam. And then add to that with some of the new... It's going to be lovely. Jerome would love to do them, but more Orcs probably. So he's excited for Angron, as we indeed all should be, because new Demon Primarch. But he's got to do more Orcs. If you are in London and you are a beginner, do check out the Escalation Leagues and beginner events by the London Wargaming Guild. Yeah, just Google London Wargaming Guild, and that is a Discord of around 2,000 or plus people in London that arrange to have games with each other, and there's Bad Moon Cafe and a number of other clubs. There's a very good scene in London, and I imagine if there's any other cities, so anyone who's watching this after the stream, if you know of a guild or something like the London Wargamers Guild in in London, Munich, Paris, Munich, everybody talking about pub music, you know, LA, Berlin, whatever. Put it in the comments section after this video turns into a VOD. And if everyone could thumb up those comments, that means that they'll be the most thumbed up. So in months' time or weeks' time, when people are listening to this, they can just go to the comment section below and see hopefully more than one, hopefully 3 or 4 thumbed up. Hey, there's the London Wargamers Guild, and you can find them on Discord. Don't put any links. Hey, I'm in Berlin, and there is the Berlin Tigers, and there's like 500 of us. No, they'd be called the Berlin Beerheads. And then you would have like, hey, this is the New York Coffee House thing. Do you know anything around the Liverpool region? I don't know, I'm afraid. When do the World Eaters release gets dropped on the GW site? We think the pre-orders go up tomorrow. James has just confirmed that. The dream is Angron charging. Angron, Scarbrand and Bloodthirster charging across the board. Yes, it is, Adam. And you know what else you can add to Angron, Scarbrand and a Bloodthirster? Why not put in one of those beautiful Khorne Knights from the Chaos Knight books with all the relics on and all the stuff? One of those Dreadblades. Put him in there as well. It's a beautiful thing. So yeah, if you're watching this after the VOD, and if you're in the comment section after the VOD, then thumb up with it. I'll be interested to see in a couple of weeks' time if there's something in Berlin or New York or Japan or Glasgow. Things like that. So yeah, Jerome, glad you're here. We are fighting on the 10th. Looking forward to that one. I am fighting this Sunday against a guy called Andy, who is from Simply Warhammer. You can go and check out Simply Warhammer on YouTube. Got a few thousand subscribers, that man. And he likes his Heresy, so he's coming around to do some Heresy. I'm looking forward to filming some Heresy. And when Jerome comes over, that's what I'm thinking of Heresy, we're going to do Jerome. Norwich Last Stand. They have been great since I started about 3 years ago. Lovely people, so welcoming. Actually, in general, 40k people are lovely in general, yeah. My Chaos Knights are done in pseudo Black Legion scheme. Nice. But you're tempting me to do a repaint. Damn you, Winters. Well, no, bring one on a Black Legion scheme. Like he can be a World Eaters. The Juggernaut in the World Eaters book on the Lord thing, isn't that black, I think? You're at Wab Winters. Yes, I am, Jerome. I'll see you then. Weilenborger. There's something about Herefordshire. James Tarr put it in the comment section. I can't even say that name. It's goddamn Welsh. Thanks, Dr. Sprue. I'll look it up after the stream. Cool. So I think we've done a public service announcement thing there, people. We're all very excited for a new Demon Primarch hitting the scene, and we can't wait for Games Workshop to release another Demon Primarch, can we? And if we don't, and if we're not excited about Angron, and you're watching this after the VOD, and if you're not excited about Angron now, then write down. I want to see why you're not excited about Angron as well. Because why? I don't get it. I don't understand. If you have hope in your heart, if you have love for the hobby, if you want demon Primarchs and normal Primarchs and bigger, better explosions coming everywhere, if you want to come all across the galaxy with Primarchs and explosions, then why would you not cheer this sort of thing? So put it in the comment section. I'm interested in hearing your things. Edward, thank you for becoming a Tier 1 channel member. You are a legend. Thank you for your support. That unlocks images and badges. Tier 2 for everyone else unlocks my Discord, and Tier 3 unlocks lots and lots of extra content and all the extra member videos and campaigns and things, and it is the best way to support me. I saw the question entitled bottom line when I read the audiobook of Angron making fun of the word bearer, so I cried. Okay. Will we ever get Perty or Lorgar? Yes, we're going to get Lorgar. The Games Workshop has said they are working on the Emperor's Children, so Lorgar will return. Or was that Fulgrim? Yeah, the Emperor's Children, that'd be Fulgrim return. I think I've said all the way through the screen. Lorgar, stream, Lorgar. Have I? I don't know. It's going to be Fulgrim. Snaky Fulgrim coming back with his snaky body and 4 arms and things. If you're not excited about World Eaters, can I thoroughly recommend the Horus Heresy novel Betrayer? Brings a lot more depth to them and gets into Khan and Argyll Tal. Exactly. Betrayer is one of the best books in the Heresy series. You have to read it. You've definitely said Lorgar. Thanks, Jerome. Ozzy was a bit disappointed. The model for Angron is like a greater demon on steroids. I've heard that, but I don't recognise that at all. I think he looks distinctly not greater demon-esque. He looks like I think there is a distinction. I think from afar, it's a bit like he might look greater demon-esque in the same way that a Plague Burst Crawler looks like a Layman Russ, because they're both tanks. But when you look at them, the Plague Burst Crawler does not look like a Layman Russ. Have you heard of a Command Battle Win? Heard of Command Battle? They're a small group of UK 40k players. Please put it in the comment section. Good. Command Battle Win? Command. People getting cool stuff is only a good thing, even if I won't get Angron. +1 for Betrayer. Exactly. I love 30 Core Lore. I'm 30 books deep and there is no Primarch I dislike. Nice. That's very positive of you. Good. I'm glad you're enjoying it. They all have their flaws. And they're all really cool. I can't wait to be ripped apart by Angron. Exactly. Standing across the tabletop and have Angron coming at you. And they all do have flaws. Because deep down, the Primarchs are still human. Angron is a cool addition for a hero hammer. Yes, he is. Nice model, says Ozzy. Saying he was disappointed earlier, remember, Ozzy. So let's see what he says now. He was disappointed earlier. Nice model. I love Bloodthirster, but just a bit samey for me. You're entitled to your opinion now, Ozzy. It's wrong, but you're entitled to it. Any books I would need to read before I read Betrayer? Yes, definitely Dilithium. Read No Fear first. Because Betrayer is essentially connected to the events in No Fear. No Fear happens a few short weeks into the Heresy when the Word Bearers attack the Ultramarines at Calth. It's a momentous occasion in the Heresy, like the Dropsite Massacre, like the burning of Prospero, the betrayal of Calth. And No Fear is part 1 of the betrayal of Calth, and but the Betrayer, it's just called Betrayer's part 2 of of the betrayal of Calth, of the betrayal of the Ultramarines. And the stories are dissociated, but they're set at the same momentous events. They follow each other. And if you finish Betrayer, then you'll want to read Imperium Secundus, which is also excellent. The Horus Heresy works like this. There's 4 books at the beginning, then it breaks off all over the place. Then there's 4 books in the middle, which is No Fear, Betrayer, Imperium Secundus, and Vulcan Lives. Then it breaks up all over the place, then it comes back together for Solar War. So the shortest way to read the Heresy is the first 4 books, the middle 4 books, and then jump to Solar War. There is a couple of essential books along the way that you should read, and I put up a Horus Heresy reading order, which I wouldn't change. I've been asked recently, would you change your Horus Heresy reading order video that you put up a year and a half ago? The answer to that is no. That still stands. There are some things that personally I would also read if I was doing it through as quick as I can, but I tried to condense it to the shortest possible. Thank you, Edward Crane, for upgrading your membership to Tier 3 13th. That unlocks all the videos and shizzle. Thank you, sir. Winters, do you have any plans for a new name chaplain? Nope. Imperium Secundus, Unremembered Empire. Yes, Unremembered Empire, that's the book. So it is No Fear, Betrayer, Imperium Unremembered Empire, and do Vulcan Lives in between. Where are we? I'd like to have seen Angron's face to be slightly more human. Okay, apparently he has an alternative mouth-closed head, and I'm interested to see that. I like all the things, though. It bears some similarities to the face on the 30k Angron model. I love that. First Heretic, hello. What about First Heretic? What about it? You don't need it. Jerome, do you reckon Forge World will release an Ascended of each Primarch? If yes, I believe so. They will release Ascended of each Primarch. I believe Sanguinius is no longer available on Forge World. And the Solar War's coming. The End and the Death. So I believe the next one will be Sanguinius. And I also have heard rumours that Forge World said, this may or may not be true, Chapman can help me out here, but Forge World said that they were going to release all the Primarchs. So they're going to re-release them more. So that was the first pass at the start of the Heresy, and then them at their best moments for the second part of the Heresy. The alternative head is on Google, just have a look. Evening, Winter, sir. Evening, Jonathan. Who's your favourite Primarch? Adam, oh, you're asking Adam, not me, because I went, no fear is 10 out of 10 Horus Heresy book. Yes, it is. What do you think Gulliman's weakness is, says Sasha. What is Gulliman's weakness? That's an interesting question, because all the Primarchs have a weakness. Perhaps what it takes... I don't know. That's an interesting question. I throw it to you. What is Gulliman's weakness? Maybe he doesn't have one. Maybe there is a couple of Primarchs that just don't have a weakness, because Dawn doesn't seem to have one either. Vulcan, Corax. I mean, it could be debated that most of the Loyalist Primarchs didn't have any observable weakness or obvious weakness, and that's perhaps why they stayed loyal. Gulliman's weakness is a pencil. He jokes about it. He can't take his armor off, so he can't pick one up. Yeah, so the not being able to take his armor off, they retconned that in the recent trilogy featuring Gulliman in, what's the first book? It's down there. I'm not going to dig for it, but there's the triple books that released. The chat will tell you which one it is. Wasn't a big fan of Aaron's portrayal of Angron in Echoes, basically portraying her as a bit dumb brute. I was perfectly aligned with Dr. Feelgood, Aaron's portrayal of Angron in Echoes of Eternity, because that's the first look that we have of Angron from Angron's POV after he succumbed to Khorne. We get quite a look through his POV in The Butcher's Nails, which Aaron Dembski-Bowden wrote, and in Betrayer, which Aaron Dembski-Bowden wrote, and in a couple of short stories, which Aaron Dembski-Bowden wrote. We had lots of Angron, and his story didn't really evolve. Lots of the Horus Heresy Primarch characters end up in a different place at the end of their heresy to one they started at the beginning, regardless of whether they changed or not into demons or not. Angron stayed in the same place until he changed into a demon. So his portrayal needed to be very unlike the Angron that he was before. Excuse me. And the point of The Butcher's Nails and the point of Khorne and the meta story in the story of Angron is rage will enslave you in chains. You will be a slave. You will never break free of those chains. Rage will turn you into a big, dumb brute. There are meta stories running through the Horus Heresy. These are meta characters. This is why we love it so much. And I think Aaron Dembski-Bowden portrayed him. So the thing that you don't like, I get why you don't like it. But for me, that makes it perfect. There's things about Lorgar, for example, Lorgar's portrayal, and people love Lorgar and the word bearers, but I have some real problems from my point of view about Lorgar's criticism of religion, his anti-religion, and his arguments for religion when he was writing the Lectitio Divinitatis and believed before Malcador came along and reined him in a bit. I always thought his philosophical arguments with religion and without religion were all they were a bit A-level. They didn't go much. I wanted them to go further and they didn't go as far as they needed to for me. So we all look and appreciate these stories from different angles. But I appreciate your point of view, but you're wrong. Sven Axfist! Welcome to the 13th Tier 1, my friend. Welcome. I'm a Viking! Consider becoming Tier 3 and unlocking all the extra videos. Bless you, Father Nurgle is here. It's twice that I've sneezed now. Lorgar's speech about the rage point Angron's fight with Liminarus in the book portrays amazing and nails him perfectly. Thank you. Do you think they will retcon killing Sanguinius? How do you feel about it? Marcus, I have no idea what they're going to do, and I don't think it's going to... be a retcon. So Vulcan died in the Horus Heresy. That's what we were told. When that cover of that book was released, Vulcan lives. Sneezy. 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 Vulcan, where are you, my baby? Vulcan. Are we still talk amongst yourselves? Yeah. See, I recently rearranged. And now all my books are in front of my books. I can't find him. I found him. What did I randomly grab? Legion, great book. Oh, where we are. Ard Wargaming, have to donate for all the Primarch chat. Could do this for hours. I could do this for hours. Captain America. Thank you, Ard Wargaming. I appreciate you. Thank you. Legion, fantastic book. Descent of Angels is good. Tales of Heresy short story. There's some really good ones in there. Deliverance Lost is good. Fallen Angels short story 1. I happened to grab Double Eagle as well. Highly recommended standalone book. And The Flight of the Eisenstein, which is just incredible. But you talk about retconning stuff. Everyone knew, particularly people as old as me who've been around since the dawn of time. Everyone knew that Vulcan died in an atomic fire in the drop site massacre. Pardon you. And when this book was released, when this cover came online, I cried. Vulcan lives? How? Vulcan lives? That was a big retcon. Maybe Sanguinius doesn't die either. Would you like to see more Loyalist Primarchs return, or do you think it makes too similar to 30k? They're all coming back, David. I've said it in other live streams. They're all coming back. We are in the age, the end times. The Primarchs, the final confrontation, and they're going to build it into the lore like the Emperor's plan somehow involved the psychic awakening, somehow evolved the rise of pariahs, somehow involved the rise of the Silent Sisterhood and faith. And the Adeptus Sororitas, because faith turns out to be a weapon that you can use in the Pariah Nexus and against chaos. He's been holding on, sitting in a pain engine for 10,000 years, waiting for us to wake up. I was just hoping that Angron would have more personal interaction with Sanguinius. Don't hate ADB by any means. I read his Night Lord's Omnibus. Fantastic books, isn't it? Very good read. His Night Lord's Omnibus are highly recommended. You thought he'd have more personal interaction with Sanguinius. Yeah, there is an opportunity there. I think Echoes of an Eternity was Sanguinius' time to shine. Because we know what happens next. So give him the opportunity to shine. Did they retcon Vulcan to survive and then add in the story about him fighting the beast? Yeah, the war against the beast, 32k, that came way after. So Vulcan Lives came out like 20 years ago or something. And the War of the Beast, maybe they were on book 40 of the Horus Heresy at the time. Yeah, we didn't know. What do you think out of this as a way to bring back Sanguinius? We all know his spirit is in the warp and is channeled by the Sanguinor, so they basically make a Primarch scale Sanguinor model. That could be one way around it. Do you watch battle reports on YouTube, says Antimundo? If so, who do you watch? I mentioned Command a Battle Win. They have openly said that you are their main inspiration. You should say hello. It would make their day. Command Battle Win, get in contact with me. We'll do something. Like I said, on Sunday, Simply Warhammer is coming here. I think he's got about 4,500 subs, maybe 5. I might be doing him a deep disservice. Go to simply Warhammer, give him a sub, tell him I sent you his way. So if Command Battle Win Play, hit me up. What battle reports do I watch? I watch a bit of Tabletop Tactics from time to time. I watch a bit of mini wargaming from time to time. I used to watch a lot more battle reports. I play a lot. That's who I'm watching right now, but it goes up and down. Like I've watched Hellstorm in the past. I've watched SN battle reports and enjoyed them. I've watched a bit of Tabletop Titans. I've watched a bit of Play on Tabletop. And I will go back to these every now. It depends again, comes down to mood stuff. I will listen to Loot, and I'm going through a bit of a Voldemort streak right now. Hi Sam Nash. Did you enjoy the new Garrow book? Damn, yeah, it came out. I completely missed it. Shizer! You don't even talk to me about it. Will you be at the Warhammer Fest in May? No. How do they hit you up? They would love to battle you. On the about section on my YouTube there's like a business thing that you can contact, an email, or tell them to join my Discord. Who do we have favorite Primarchs? I've always liked Russ and not like the Lion. I like Red, so Blood Angels perhaps just okay, cool. Evening, Ryan. Lee Strider, I've been looking forward to Angron since the rumours of at least a year ago, and I can barely contain my excitement. Exactly, who is not excited about Angron? Exactly. One Last Blade does stellar battle reports. One Last Blade, okay, cool. Right, I've been on for over an hour. That was amazingly fun. Thank you to Sam Nash and Mikey P and Jerome and Ard Wargaming, Adam, for your donation as well. Ambient, Joe, Ryan, Ozzy, Dutch, Gerato, David Doyle. Thank you. And thank you to the 1,000 or so people who might watch this after I turn it into a VOD. Remember to put in the comment section if you're connected into some big sort of thing. Don't do links, but big thing in a city somewhere so people can check and might be able to join a thing. That would be good. I'm excited for Angron, and I want to thank you for being a deployment zone, for being a Winters SEO watcher and lover, and a deployment zone one if you are as well. But thank you for being see that itch? Came in that like DZTV. But yeah, thank you for your real love and support. I could not do this without you. And I press this one. Thanks for your time. Thanks for the stream. Thank you. Exactly. So I'll press that one there. Happy wargaming.